Call the regular meeting of the Oakdale City Council to order. March 6, 2025. Roll call, please.
Pearson.
Here.
Willenbring.
Here.
Campbell is absent. McCauley.
Here.
Diata.
Here.
Hagan, also absent. And Wilson.
Here.
Pledge of allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I call for approval of the agendas. Any changes that anybody needs to make, or can we just approve it?
Make a motion for approval of agenda.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Approval of the minutes. Anyone have any changes to the minutes that they need to make?
Make a motion to approval of minutes.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Call open forum. This is a chance for anybody who is in attendance who wishes to make a comment that's not on the agenda to come forward and speak. But again, it's not on the agenda. It's anything that's not on the agenda. Does anyone wish to come forward? Seeing none, I close the open forum. We have no old business, so we will start with new business. A public hearing for the Ethiopian Evangelical Church in Minnesota, 7360 33rd Street North, a conditional use permit for a place of worship.
Thank you, Chair. So I will have the presentation slides up here in just a moment. So the location of the site is 7360 33rd Street. It's the former LA Fitness site. The zoning for this property is Planned Unit Development, or PUD. And the purpose of the request is to establish a place of worship or a church. And places of worship are allowed in all zoning districts through the conditional use permit process. I would like to note that there is federal law that also provides some guidance here. It's RLUPA, or the Religious Land Use and Institutionalized Persons Act of 2000. It essentially requires that religious assemblies and institutions be treated equally as non-religious assemblies and institutions. For example, city buildings or public school district buildings. They all have to be treated equally. So access to the site, there is an existing access off Hemingway. So as you probably know, the intersection of Hemingway and 34th Street can be a little bit tricky to navigate because there is no left turn lane off Hemingway to go westbound on 34th Street. So at the request of both the city and the Washington County Public Works Department, the developer commissioned a traffic study for the proposed change in use, and I'll talk a little bit more about the traffic situation in just a moment. So here's a look at the site in question. It's outlined in red. The existing building is approximately 45,000 square feet. And I'll show the concept floor plans in just a moment, but the main assembly hall would be able to accommodate up to 915 people. So however, the church, which is currently located in St. Paul, it currently has about 700 congregants, and this figure includes not just adults, but also children. Now for parking requirements, which is based on the size of the assembly hall and the office space that's associated with the church, 247 parking spaces are required. This site has 300 existing parking spaces, so the parking requirements are met. So here are some photos of the property when it was previously operating as a commercial gym. And the applicant has stated that there will be no exterior building expansions or additions. All renovation work will be limited to the inside of the building only. I would like to note that any changes to signage would require a sign permit through the city. So here's a look at the preliminary floor plans for the church. And again, the main assembly hall is expected to see up to 915 people. There will be approximately 3,000 square feet of office space, a mom/family room connected to the assembly hall, 7 Sunday school classrooms, an infant and toddler room, restrooms, a gym, an entryway, a gathering area, and also a kitchen. So here's another look at the preliminary floor plans, which show the existing partitions and rooms, which is kind of in the lighter outline. It's very difficult to see on this screen, so I apologize about that. But moving on, so as a reminder, conditional use permits are subject to certain review criteria that's found in the city's zoning ordinance, and I'll just briefly summarize those review criteria. The first one is compliance with the city's comprehensive plan. Next is compatibility of the use with the zoning district in which it is located. No nuisance effects generated, no traffic congestion or parking issues. And again, I would like to note that, again, the applicant worked with the traffic engineer to prepare a traffic study. Moving on with the criteria, the use must be adequately served by public services, no excessive costs incurred for public services or infrastructure, and finally, minimal impacts to environmental and natural features. So with that said, staff finds that the conditional use permit review criteria of the ordinance has been satisfied as detailed in the staff report on file. Staff recommends approval subject to the following condition of approval, and if you're following along in the agenda packet, I'm on page 20, last page, and it's in the draft resolution, and again, it's just one condition of approval. So wayfinding signage shall be added at the intersection of 33rd Street North and Hemingway Avenue North and along 33rd Street North. So the wayfinding signage is intended to help direct drivers who are looking to go westbound on 34th Street, and essentially trying to avoid having them make that turn at the intersection of Hemingway and 34th. They would be redirected further east in that neighborhood so that they could make a proper left turn at the intersection of Marketplace and 34th Street. One final note, so although there is only one condition of approval, staff is suggesting but is not requiring that the applicant implement the recommendations that's found in the traffic study. And these include adding, adding a future sidewalk connection from the church to Hemingway Avenue, developing a shared parking agreement with the adjacent property, conducting further traffic analysis, adjusting internal driveway alignments, and also working with Washington County on potential future traffic improvements. And as a reminder, this is a public hearing. The applicant is here in attendance, and I'd be happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone have any questions?
I don't.
One question I have, though. So the traffic study is going to be limited to just sort of those two parking lots that you are conditioning to be shared, like a shared parking agreement, or we're talking maybe Highway 14 or that 34. Typically, it's a right-hand turn on 34 going east to loop around to go west, or you're looking at creating an intersection there at Hemingway and 34.
So in terms of, I guess if I'm understanding the question correctly, so the traffic study, yeah, one of the suggestions was, I'll take the parking first, the question on the parking. It's just a suggestion that the church work with the property immediately to the east, so that's the multi-tenant building, just for the cross-parking agreement. And then the actual condition of approval for that wayfinding signage, it's just a couple signs is really all that it would amount to help direct traffic. Instead of taking a left turn, if you're exiting the church, taking a left turn or going north on Hemingway, so really trying to prevent that and have them go closer or take a right-hand turn, go south on Hemingway, and then east towards Target, and then going to that intersection.
Okay, all right. Thank you. That's good.
But there wouldn't be any blockage for them to go up Hemingway and turn right to go east along 34th?
No, you could still make that right turn going north on Hemingway and then east on 34th.
Is there any, in other words, there's a pylon sign down further by the gas station. Is there a pylon sign near there for pins or anything like that?
I believe there is a pylon sign. There's several pylon signs in that neighborhood. And then there's the old LA Fitness pylon sign as well that's close on the west side of the site along the interstate.
Go ahead, Michael. I was just going to ask, is there an apartment complex that's being built directly to the south of it? Or am I thinking of like to the
Southeast of it.
southeast?
Southeast,
Okay. I was just thinking of like the adjacent parking workout or traffic analysis there, but looks like it's just the gas station that's right next to it. That'd be the only.
A doctor's building that was minimally used, but they've got some parking facility in there as well.
Okay.
But it's just during the day, not on the weekends, I believe.
And I can bring up the location map here in a moment. So where my cursor is, that's the new apartment that just opened back in November, and then the gas station to the north. So there is a bit of a separation distance from the proposed church to those two structures.
Any further questions?
Just as a thought, traffic and parking was my only issue with this, and could there be a new on-ramp lane, I don't know how I'm saying this, on the corner of Hemingway and 34th going east? Just because you know there's going to be higher traffic there, adding a little bit larger lane, as traffic turns onto there, it gives a little more of an on-ramp there.
So 34th Street it's also, it's a county road, so
Okay,
it's also called County Road 14. My understanding is there's no immediate plans for improvements at that intersection, but it's certainly on the county's radar in terms of making improvements, and as this area continues to build out.
Anyone else? If not, then I guess I'll proceed to ask if there's anybody in the audience who wishes to come forward to speak to this matter.
My name's Chuck Beekler. I'm an attorney. I've been assisting the church on the acquisition of the property and the conditional use permit. And I think some of the issues with the traffic, I reviewed too. And I think the thing with the county, what was recommended to us and through the city engineer and also our own engineer, was that the county most likely would start by retiming some of the lights. That hasn't been done for a long time, and especially on Sunday. So the church's use, by and large, is going to be pretty minimal. They have one service Sunday morning, late in the morning until I think just after noon. And then otherwise, they have religion classes where like 40, 50 students show up, and then they have some events here and there. So I think by and large, the only traffic concern is going to be on that Sunday coming and going during those limited times when I suspect that traffic overall may be lessened because it's a Sunday rather than a weekday. So we'll be working with the engineers on that. And then as far as the way finding signs as a condition is perfectly fine. I think the only thing we'd want to do is kind of get some direction on what that means and when that should be done. I think in talking to Luke, the thought was we'd do a bit of a wait and see approach to see what's necessary and what would be best based on some experience. So I'm not sure how that would work into the approval. But other than that, we have the architect here if you had any questions about the internal renovations. But otherwise, I think it's all well set out, and Luke did a great job of presenting it, so I don't really have anything to add.
The only question I would have for the engineer would be a off-the-subject question as to what are you going to do with the pool, because it's marked as a
My
meeting
understanding,
room
it's going to
now.
be filled. It's not going to be,
Built in?
yeah, they're not going to use it as a pool. No, I think they want the,
Building a floor
floor.
over it or taking it all out?
Basically just infill it with sand and insulation, and then just concrete over the top.
Okay. Answers my question.
okay, thank you.
Anyone else have any questions for them?
One question here. Is the second floor demoed too also?
The mezzanine, it's actually marked in there for seating as well.
Oh, that's what they call a mezzanine?
Yeah.
That's what it is, okay. All right, got it.
Anyone else have a question for them? Okay, I'll bring it back here for final questions amongst us. Anybody have any final comments?
None.
Okay, then I look for a motion.
Move to recommend the approval of the conditional use permit to establish a place of worship at 7360 33rd Street North.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you very much. Staff liaison update.
Yes, thank you. So really just one update here. So I expect that we will have an April Planning Commission meeting. We have two applications or two requests. So one is a senior condos proposal by Fourth and Ideal, or the Oak Meadows apartment, if you're familiar with that. And then we have another conditional use permit for an oversized garage. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner updates. So anyone have any updates that they wish to express?
Since you mentioned April, I would actually not be available at that meeting. I'll be on vacation.
Okay, thank you.
That's all.
Council liaison. Ms. Willenbring.
Nothing new to report, but happy to answer questions.
I have no questions for you.
No questions? Nice to see you again, yeah. It's been a long time.
Was that?
I said it's nice to see you again.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Yeah, I was out of the country for a while.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Move to adjourn.
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? We stand adjourned.
18 minutes.